Here's Brody Brazil.
When I say that Salt Lake City, Utah is going to play a major part in the near future of Major League Baseball, I mean that on two fronts. First, if there ever is expansion right around the corner, you know that Salt Lake City and correspondingly Big League Utah, they're going hard to put their name in the hat for that opportunity. But even closer to that on the timeline is the chance that a Major League Baseball team might actually relocate to Salt Lake City and Utah because of the opportunity, because of the public funding that's already been approved to the tune of $900 million. And again, because of a group out there called Big League Utah that really wants their hands on a team. They've already got the site. I mean, they've already got the ambitions very well laid out. So we'll skip expansion for another time, but we'll talk about the possibilities of relocation right here, right now. I've got a blank screen here. You're wondering what are the teams I'm going to put up in what order. Now, in no particular order, let's start with the Athletics. Oakland A's to Sacramento to what they think eventually would be Las Vegas in 3, maybe 4 years down the road, starting after the 2025 season. That all remains to be seen. And Las Vegas is not signed, sealed, and delivered yet. I mean, until shovels are in the ground, until that project actually starts moving, Big League Utah already tried to get the A's to spend their temporary seasons in Salt Lake. Remember those billboards? We want the A's? Well, what's to think that they still don't want the A's if the opportunity presents itself? My point is, if there is any type of hitch or hiccup in the process in Las Vegas, and we should find that out, by the way, in the second quarter of 2025. That's when groundbreaking is supposed to happen. If that does not happen on time and on target, then you know Salt Lake City and Big League Utah are going to put themselves back into that conversation. Now, I realize what team would leave the Los Angeles market and go to a place like Salt Lake City, but then again, Major League Baseball approved the Bay Area's Oakland A's, one of the top, 5, 6 sized markets in the country. They approved the A's to go to market number 40 in Las Vegas. So I know it doesn't seem as likely, but the situation with the Angels and searching for the ability to develop the land around current Angel Stadium, and if they can't get that done, who knows what Artie Moreno and his ownership group are going to do. I don't think this is one of the more likely possibilities, but again, it's a vulnerable team in a situation that we don't know their future. Angel Stadium is not getting any younger, and their situation is not getting any more clear by the day, week, or month. Then there's the Arizona Diamondbacks. We know in the last couple weeks here, tensions have surfaced about Chase Field. They've got a roof issue. They can't open and close it when fans are in the stands anymore. They've got an HVAC issue. The air conditioning just isn't up to par with the hot desert summers anymore, so it's making fans uncomfortable. And the lease at Arizona ends after the 2027 season. So this one seems a little bit more close on the radar. And from Arizona, you just go straight north up to Utah. And sorry to open up this fresh wound, and you know how I feel about this already. The Arizona Coyotes, within the last handful of months, just relocated and did this exact same move from Phoenix to Salt Lake City. More on the NHL side of this and the hockey kind of the precedent that hockey has set in just a second. But the Arizona Diamondbacks are definitely in this list of possibilities. The Chicago White Sox, now they just built a whole pop-up diamond at the site of the 78 on the South Loop in downtown Chicago, and so they're trying to get into a new ballpark. But they also want, reportedly, $1 billion of public money to help make that happen. What if they don't get it? Now, again, leaving Chicago for a place like Salt Lake City in market size alone, if that's what we're going to judge it on, and I know that's going to be a criticism in the comment section here on the video, let me just remind you, baseball seems okay from a two-team market like Chicago or the Bay Area to have one of its teams go to a much smaller market to have it all to themselves. And that would be the case for the Chicago White Sox if they were to move out west. Now, the Kansas City Royals, I think they're more likely to get something done in the state of Kansas, like in Kansas City, Kansas, versus Kansas City, Missouri right now. There was the vote from a couple months ago where it did not pass the extension of the local sales tax, which would have kept funding Kauffman Stadium and Arrowhead Stadium. So the Royals didn't get it. Again, I don't think it's likely that they make this move, but here's the thing. The Royals and the Angels and the White Sox, they can all use Utah as a threat. They can use Utah as leverage of something that may not happen, but hey, they're here to tell you what if it did. And look, the Tampa Bay Rays, I know what you're thinking. Wait, aren't they done? Didn't they get all the approvals? They're right around the corner from everything they need. Here's what they don't have squared away, at least publicly right now, the funding privately of this ballpark for the Tampa Bay Rays. So again, if there's any hitch in that process, kind of a same deal with the A's. If there's any hitch, and actually the Rays have more approvals than the A's do at this point, but if there's any delays in the process, Utah, I guarantee you, is going to say, hey, we're still here. We still have that $900 million of public funding. And let me just remind you what the NHL already did. The NHL went out and bought the team, the hockey team, the Coyotes, from Alex Murillo and family, and they turned around and sold it to the Smith Entertainment Group, Ryan and Ashley Smith, owners of the Jazz and prominent business people of Salt Lake City. So the Coyotes have already done this, and in large part because $900 million back in February was approved for the upgrades at Delta Center and the surrounding area. So Utah did $900 million approvals for the indoor arena and for a baseball stadium within just a couple weeks apart. And again, as soon as the $900 million popped up for the NHL, the league went out to Arizona and said, we can't have your team in flux. We need to move you to a place where we know there's money secured. And again, $900 million for both baseball and the basketball/hockey situations. And the Larry H. Miller Group, I do need to say this too, as much as we talk about the money and the things that are involved, the Larry H. Miller Group, they're the ones that are attached to this MLB pursuit. They're the ones that are behind Big League Utah. Now, let me just read the Miller Group's own description here on the Big League Utah website. The Miller family and the Larry H. Miller Company have a long history of sports ownership, beginning with Larry and Gail's acquisition of the Utah Jazz. During their 36 years of stewardship, the family built and renovated an arena, secured 2 NBA All-Star games, and led one of the winningest franchises in the league. Since 2005, the Miller family has owned the Salt Lake Bees, the AAA affiliate for the Los Angeles Angels, and continues to invest in the franchise. The Larry H. Miller Company recently announced it would build a new minor league baseball park for the team in Daybreak, a master planned community in South Jordan, Utah. So again, that's from the Miller Group, talking about them, who they are, and what they want to do with Big League Utah. But going back to the $900 million approved, this is from House Bill 562. House of Representatives voted big time in favor, 51-21. The Senate confirmed it, 25-4. It was signed into law by Governor Cox of Utah, March 19th, 2024, and it provides $900 million of state funds for this stadium, but it has to be in motion by 2032, excuse me. So there is some time ticking here. There is some urgency, and as much as, again, we talk about maybe potential expansion, they're more hungry to get something like relocation because it happens quicker, and also there would be no expansion fee. And apparently there's no relocation fee in baseball because that's not what they held the A's up to in going to Las Vegas. Taxes generated from sales within the stadium district are part of generating that $900 million. Utah would also add a 1.5% increase in car rental tax to non-Utah residents only if Utah were to land a big league baseball team. The team would have to use Utah in its name. It wouldn't be Salt Lake whatever. It would be the Utah A's, Utah White Sox, Utah Diamondbacks. And the state would own the stadium land. They would lease it back for $150,000 a month to the Major League Baseball team. The Larry H. Miller Group, we know they're all about Big League Utah, but they've also promised $3.5 billion plus in investment in that Power District area. I'll show you all the renderings in a second. The stadium cost, they're targeting already right now at $1.8 billion, with the Larry H. Miller Group basically paying the remainder, so anything after $900 million, half the cost. HB 562 sets up a new investment district in 2024 with board oversight. And again, this is all separate from Senate Bill 272, which was the arena project downtown. So Utah is just churning out the money. $900 million times 2. They've already used one of that $900 million, or they're about to, for the hockey arena and the basketball arena, Delta Center. And this other $900 million is just sitting out there waiting to go. Spencer Cox says, the governor, quote, "The West Side is a gathering place for so many people and an opportunity to be a showcase as people are visiting our state for the first time to see this incredible development, as well as potentially Major League Baseball sitting right there welcoming people into the capital city." And then there's Representative Ryan D. Wilcox, who was a sponsor of House Bill 562. Representative Wilcox says, quote, "If you don't run to your position, someone else will. We have a generational opportunity right now to communicate in the clearest terms possible that Utah is indeed ready for Major League Baseball. We're excited for the opportunities HB 562 brings to our capital city, our state, and of course, Utah's families for generations to come." And again, we talk about having your ducks in a row, having your T's crossed, your I's dotted. I mean, there's already renderings. They've got the plot of land. They know who's going to invest in that. You'd have to think that the Larry H. Miller Group probably wants to buy into whatever team would be coming into town. So a cash influx for whatever ownership group would be bringing their baseball team to Salt Lake City. And that's why I'm just saying Utah, it's one thing if they want to talk the talk about, oh, we could be a player in this and we have the opportunity, but like they are literally ready to go. In a second, you'll find out how precisely shovel ready they are for this project. There's the location. It's between the airport and downtown in a prime spot. It's got transit. It's got everything they need. I mean, they're just kind of sitting and waiting for the next good opportunity to come around. So what is the timeline here? Because of the private investment and support, and this comes from the Big League Utah website, planning and construction of the improvements to the west side, including the Power District, State Fair Park, and Jordan River parcels can begin right away. Again, because of the private investment and support and planning and construction, it's all ready to go. MLB has not put a timeline on team expansion if that were to be how they'd acquire a team. Again, this is what the Smith Group said to the NHL only, 6-7 months ago, that they were ready to take an expansion NHL franchise, and then guess what? Next thing you know, they got a relocated team in the Coyotes. But the shovel-ready nature of the site at the Power District will enable ballpark construction to begin immediately as needed. So check that off on your list of things here. The money, the location, the people behind it, all the approvals, and the fact that it could start immediately as needed. So, tell me how Utah is not a player here for especially teams like the A's and the Diamondbacks and maybe the White Sox and Royals to some degree. And let me just really repeat this here. Even if those teams don't have ambitions to actually make the move to Salt Lake City, they're going to use that as leverage in anything they do with the other baseball teams and the public entities that will or will not approve money and stadium situations. All right, you've made it here to the end of this video. Really appreciate that. Thumbs up down below. Greatly helps me in this video and this channel. And also, if you would, take one quick second before this video ends. Go down there and make sure that you are already subscribed to this channel. That way I definitely get to see you back here next time.